With trigonometry, they can ask you to find a ratio in terms of a variable. So if, for example, they give you cos of 20 degrees is equals to k, with your angle bigger than 0 and smaller than 180 degrees. This means that you have to check in which quadrants you have to work. You are allowed, with this restriction, to work in your first or second quadrant. Cos of 20 equals to k is positive, and cos is positive in your first quadrant. So you have to remember that cos of 20 degrees will be equal to k over 1, adjacent over hypotenuse. So you draw a triangle on a Cartesian plane where you show what you have. You have your adjacent k and you have your hypotenuse 1. Your triangle always goes from your center outwards. Your hypotenuse line goes from your center outwards and then down to give you a 90-degree angle on your x-axis. When you have 1 and k, to find your opposite side, you use the theorem of Pythagoras to solve your y. Because you have your r value and your x value, the only unknown you have is y. So you solve y and you get it as positive or negative square root of 1 minus k squared. The plus minus, if it focuses, the plus minus has to show at your answer. When you put it back into your triangle, you can choose. Is it on the positive y side or the negative y side? Then you put it on the appropriate side with the sign if it is negative. And then they will tell you to solve sine 20 degrees in terms of k. So you start with sine of 20 degrees is opposite over hypotenuse, y over r. Your y is 1 minus square root, 1 minus k squared over your r is 1. You can then rewrite it, you can only rewrite it as square root 1 minus k squared, or this way and then write it again. They can also ask you for a bigger angle, which you would have to use reduction formulas for. So if you have tan of 200 degrees, you will have to go and check how can you change tan of 200 degrees to get 20 degrees. You need the 20 degrees. From there, you go and check. If you have 180 minus, you will not get 200 degrees. But if you have 180 plus, you can get to 200 degrees. Make sure of the way you write. You have to say 180 plus the angle that you want. You cannot say 200 minus 180. You have to say 180 plus 20, because that 20 degrees goes down to your next step for your angle. When you have tan of 20 degrees, because you know that it's opposite over adjacent, you can simply write your opposite over your adjacent. When it can simplify, you do, otherwise you leave it as it is. In this case, you leave it as it is, it cannot simplify.